Welcome back, everyone. I am Error, and we're going to continue playing some Dark Souls. So, my last video, I showed you how to get the Firekeeper's Soul right away. So we've got our Estus Flask +1. We are going to proceed to the first area and fight one of the bosses of the game, hopefully, and see what else we can come up with here. So, I know there's a few items here. I don't think there's a ton to get right away, so I don't think we're going to mess around too much at Firelink, but this is sort of the hub of the game. It's kind of the dead center of the map, and there's a lot of different ways you can go. The first way you should go, you don't have to, but first way you should go is up this staircase. And you'll see there's a lot of enemies here. You want to be kind of careful because they're going to start whipping fire bombs at you. So you just kind of want to lure them out one by one. That's going to be the key for a lot of this game. You don't want to fight groups of enemies. It's just a bad idea. So let's see. Kind of want to draw aggro on that guy and get him out here, but I know they're going to whip firebomb me if I do that. So let's see. There we go. A little bit tougher of an enemy than what we just fought so far. See if we can... I think there's another enemy up next to him, yeah. Just be careful. You can get mobbed pretty quickly up here. There's going to be another one that's going to come down the stairs as we get close to this guy, so... Maybe he won't come down. Maybe he'll make us come to him. Alright. Once you've dealt with those guys, then you can safely go down and get that treasure. Soul of a Lost Undead. And if you're feeling really frisky, you can try to make the jump over to that aqueduct and go and get that soul. I don't think it's really anything necessarily super good, and it's a really good way to die, so I'm not gonna bother with that right now. I do want to get this though. Soul of a Lost Undead. Those bankable souls are always really useful. I want to watch out for this rat when you come in here. This one's really tame. A lot of those guys, a lot of those rats will come at you a little bit harder. Be a little bit more aggressive. That one doesn't really seem to do much, but just know that he's there. And that's locked. We can't get in there yet. Alright. And we're in the Undead Burg. Just be careful. Like I was. This is kind of crazy. The frame rate on this is way better than I'm used to. It's pretty cool. We got a battle axe, which is actually not a bad weapon, believe it or not. Alright, so we can go down there and get that item if we want to, but we should probably take this guy out before he throws a grenade at us, right? Is that his trick? Yeah, let's take him out, and we got his friend in here. Alright. Can't remember if there's anything in here or not. Doesn't seem like it. I feel like there's an item on the second floor that we have to make a crazy jump for, so we're not going to do that just yet. Let's drop down here and get this. Large soul of lost undead. That's good to have. You can see a little ambush and wait for us down there, so we'll remember that. And we got a similar thing going on here. And, yep, I'm completely trapped in here. This is not good. See, even in the low-level areas, this game can really put you in some bad spots, so be careful. That is my #1 word of advice to you when playing Dark Souls. Be careful. And yeah, nothing over here. I think this is going to sort of take us in a sort of a loop around, and we can get a couple more items. We don't really have to be doing this right now, but again, any incremental advantage is good. All right. If we had had a bow and arrow there, we could have just shot them down. But we don't have a bow yet. We're going to want to get a bow as soon as we can, but we don't have one yet. As you can see, we got this guy waiting for us here. We got a humanity, always useful. All right. Do a little plunge attack there on him. These fog doors are always tricky because you never know when it's going to be a boss and when it's just going to be more of the same. All right, so I think this is something that we can do here. If I can remember how to jump. There we go. Nope, didn't make it. Let's try it again. Don't actually remember what's over there, but I think it's worth trying. The jumping in this game is really problematic. It is not easy to do. You've got to be sprinting, and then you have to double tap circle. It's just awkward as hell. Okay, we're not even going to bother with it. I don't think there's anything important over there. Yep, that's a big-ass dragon. Sure is. So, yeah. He'll be back. We don't have to deal with him just yet, but we will. Heal up. We got a few enemies to deal with up here. Got an archer, so beware of that. You don't want to get caught out in the open by that. Alright, we got a bonfire in there we're not going to go to yet because that'll refresh all these enemies we just killed. So we've got these guys. These are kind of annoying because they've got their shields up and there's 2 of them. So we're going to need to practice our kicking here. So it's up and light attack. Oops. And drink an Estus when we don't need to. Okay. Get some stamina back and get ready to deal with this guy. Alright. Those guys can take a while to chew through if you don't kick them. They're actually pretty super annoying. And he'll try to surprise you, but we're too smart for that. Axe. Again, it's not a bad weapon. Don't attack this guy right away.
Well now, you seem to have your wits about you. Hmm? Then you are a welcome customer. I trade for souls. Everything's for sale.
Okay, so you probably want to pick up the residence key. These are both useful items, but we don't really have a need for them right now. Let's see how many souls we can get from our dispensable souls, though, because we do probably want to pick up some of this stuff. So as you can see, you can sort of use them at will here, and you can use them in quantity as well, which is useful. So we've got 2,500 souls to work with.
I hope you brought...
We are going to buy a short bow. And of course we need some arrows here. And I don't think we need to go with large arrows. We're just going to go with standard arrows. For our purposes, I think we want about 50 to 60 of them. If I can make this go to the right number here. Oh my goodness, that's annoying. Okay, so we're going to buy 60.
Oh, thank you very much. Come back soon.
Now, if you want to, you can kill him and get a pretty good katana. So if you're going to be using dex-based weaponry, he's actually got a pretty good item for you. But at least for now, we're going to leave him alive. So, for our short bow, I'm trying to figure out what we actually need to equip this. Our dex is 11. Let's see here what we need to equip our short bow. Unable to wield the present stats. I know it will tell you what you need to wield it, but I'll be damned if I can remember how to figure that out. Oh, here we go. So we need Strength 7 and Dex 12 in order to equip this. So we just need to put 1 point into Dex when we get a chance, and we'll be good. And at least for right now, we can equip our standard arrows. They don't actually, I don't think they encumber us at all, so we're just going to put the arrows on so we don't forget to do that later. Always be wary of ambushes because they happen frequently. Oh boy, that's a lot of guys. Well, only one way to get through this part, and that's to hack away. And I believe that barrel explodes if you can throw a firebomb or a spell at it or something, but seems highly unnecessary for right now. Okay. I believe there's something fairly good up here, too. Throwing knife. Okay. Oh, and is this how we get over there? This might be how we get over there, actually. That's where we were trying to jump earlier. Yeah, there we go. Now the question is there anything actually up here? Light crossbow and standard bolt. Okay, that's kind of cool. I still say a short bow is the better option. The problem with crossbows is you can't go into first-person mode with them. So you pretty much have to be locked on or just super awesome at aiming them in order to get anything done otherwise. And there are a lot of times when you're going to want to aim down the sights. So, alright, I think there's a guy around the corner in here too, so, well, maybe not. We got a wooden shield. We don't need a wooden shield. We already have a much better shield. Alright, so now is a good time to use this bonfire. And we're going to use humanity because I think this one is one we can kindle right now. So first need to reverse hollowing. Because as you can see, we rested, but our Estus Flask did not go back up to 10. So now we can kindle, which means every time we rest here, we end up with 10 Estus Flasks. And we have enough to level up our dex, so we're going to do that. So now, I believe, we can equip our bow. Can. And we're still fast rolling, so that's good. So as you can see, this is what I meant by being able to go into first-person mode with it. Now, there are a few very compelling reasons to have a bow. I would say the first and most obvious is going to be occasionally, sometimes there's going to be enemies that you need to fight, and you can't reach them. I would say probably not as obvious, but even better reason to have a bow is going to be to draw aggro on enemies. So if there's a group of enemies like the one we just saw a minute ago, and they're all at the end of the hallway, a lot of times you can just fire off an arrow and draw one at a time over to you, and that way you don't have to fight mobs. So anyway, we rested at the bonfire, so all the enemies are back again. So we've got to deal with this. Arrow in the back for our trouble. And in the face. Jeez. Okay. Get out of here, buddy. And this guy noticed what we're up to. Alright. Let's give this a shot, because there's this can be kind of a tricky area. The boat always seems to pull a little bit to the right too, so okay, so gotta get the controls again. This guy's going to chuck fire bombs at us, which is going to make us rush across this bridge. But there's a bunch of guys in that room, so it kind of sucks to do it that way. I guess it doesn't pull to the right that much. So that's a good way to deal with it. Oh, there's still more. Missed one. Alright, I think we're probably safe now. There might still be 2 guys in here, but there's going to be at least 1. Yep, here he is. He's a little bit tougher too, so that's why I say it's better to just play that safe. Can't open that yet. Take him by surprise a little bit. He's got a buddy in here. I've got a treasure chest with some black fire bombs. Those are actually really useful at this stage of the game. You can put a lot of hurt on bosses and things like that, so worth using. I got all turned around. Here we go. Don't think there's anything in those boxes. Alright, so again, we've got a bunch of enemies here. I think one of them's, at least one of them is going to throw fire bombs, so you want to pull them out to a better vantage point. Yeah. This guy is the fire bomber. There we go. About time. For whatever reason, I feel like I'm having a hard time getting backstabs. Got a ladder leading up here. And if you didn't already kill those guys with bow and arrow, this is where you can go to get your revenge. And also a Soul of Lost Undead. Hey, wait a minute. How do we get that? Interesting. I don't think I ever noticed that one before. And I'm really not sure how to get it. Maybe that's something we have to go around for. Oh yeah, no, never mind. We can't get that yet. So that residence key that we bought will open up this particular door. And will allow us to get some gold pine resin. And you could probably try to shoot some arrows at these guys, but they'll put their shields up. They're not gonna. You're not gonna find too much advantage by going in for range from that perspective. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. Again, keep kick him, you can take him down pretty easily. Now, this is kind of a trap. You don't want to immediately go and engage those guys, because we've got an archer up here, and he will shoot you in the back. So you want to kill him first, and then you're free to figure this mess out. He's got aggressive, so you don't have to worry too much about the whole kicking routine, although it does still work. I think this is a spearman. Nope, this is a sword guy again. If you have a good shield, you can just sort of block the attack, and it will sort of send them recoiling. That'll give you a free shot. You probably don't want to fight that guy yet. He's very, very difficult. I mean, you get a decent item for killing him, and potentially a pretty good random drop at a sword, but for now we're not going to worry so much. Alright, get out of there, because he's going to throw some flaming barrels at you. And make your way on up. I believe, yeah, we can open this with the master key. You don't want to do that yet, unless you're really confident in your ability. There is an enemy down there that is pretty tough, and you can get a pretty good item from him. But yeah, we're not going to mess with that just yet. In one of these boxes, there he is. Really want to try and kill this thing if you can. You get an awesome item for beating him. Twinkling Titanite and large Titanite shards. That doesn't seem like a huge deal right now, but that's a huge deal. That will help us out with our upgrades like crazy. We probably won't even have the opportunity to use those for a while, but by the time we gain the ability, we're going to be really happy we've got it. Okay. So, this is the boss arena, and what you want to do first is climb this ladder, because there's a couple of guys up here with crossbows, and they're dickheads. So, you don't want to get shot with arrows while you're trying to fight the boss, trust me. I mean, maybe you do, but I don't. Alright, if you are not full on health, get that way. And you want to walk down this bridge until you see the boss. And as soon as you see him jump out of that tower, and the life bar up here, you want to scramble back over here to this ladder. Climb it as quickly as you can, because he's going to be on you pretty darn quickly. Plunge attack. And there's a couple options. You can try to get around him and do the same trick again, or you can just fight him. Again, with big enemies, believe it or not, the trick is to stay as close to them as possible. It's easier to dodge. You may want to consider two-handing here, because he's not that hard to dodge, but I don't know, having a shield up is a good idea sometimes. See? You could also, if you're having trouble, you can use your fire bombs here too. being able to move quickly and especially dodge quickly is really useful here too. Okay, that kind of sucked. Yeah, okay. Gotta dodge a little bit differently than that. Gotta wait a little bit more. Oh god, okay. Overall, this boss really isn't too tough, which is normal, because it's one of the first bosses in the game, but he can be kind of a pain sometimes. Sometimes he'll just do you the favor and he'll walk off the edge. Doesn't happen that often, but I've seen it happen. Give myself a little bit more breathing room here. One more good hit should get him. There he is. And that's the Taurus Demon. Humanity, Homeward Bone, 3,000 souls. Seems like a ton, right? But it's not that much. It's a lot for us now. It'll help us out for sure. But I wouldn't geek out over 3,000 souls at this stage in the game. I think over here is an item behind these boxes. Yeah. Large soul of a lost undead. Now, I hope you were paying attention, because that guy will be a standard enemy at some point in the game. That's like you'll fight a bunch of them in a row as regular respawnable enemies. So, that's not for a while, though.
Ah, hello. You don't look hollow, far from it. I am Solaire of Astora, an adherent of the Lord of Sunlight. Now that I am undead, I have come to this great land, the birthplace of Lord Gwyn, to seek my very own son. You find that strange? Well, you should. No need to hide your reaction. I get that look all the time.
We got the original Sunbro here.
Oh, aha. So I didn't scare you. I have a proposition, if you have a moment.
You just want to talk to this guy and hit yes to everything.
Our fates appear to be intertwined. In a land brimming with hollows, could that really be mere chance? So what do you say? Why not help one another on this lonely journey? This pleases me greatly. Well then, take this.
White Sign Soapstone is what we're after.
Strange beings in a strange land. The flow of time itself is convoluted, with heroes centuries old phasing in and out. The very fabric wavers, and relations shift and obscure. There's no telling how much longer your world and mine will remain in contact. But use this to summon one another as spirits, cross the gaps between the worlds, and engage in jolly cooperation. Of course, we are not the only ones engaged in this, but I am a warrior of the sun. Spot my summon signature easily by its brilliant aura. If you miss it, you must be blind.
So, basically, that item enables co-op play. And I just realized something. We haven't equipped any of our other items, so we should do that. I don't know how much we actually need here. We'll do Firebomb, or Black Firebomb, Firebomb, Homeward Bone, and White Sign Soapstone, I guess. Homeward Bone will take you back to the last bonfire, so you can cycle through those with the down key. Just make sure you've got your Estus flask on, because you'll need that every once in a while. Now, that's where we came from. Can't go through there. This is a little tricky. So, you want to be fast here. Trust me, I'm just going to kind of show you what happens. You want your shield up, and you want to sprint. Hug the right wall. Okay, that didn't do too much damage. If you're wondering what happened, that dragon that we saw on the bridge came back. So, we want to go, I think over here, I think is where we want to go. Kick this ladder down. And this should look pretty familiar. Didn't mean to do that. And we're back here. So we got a nice shortcut now, and we got our bonfire back. So, we'll probably level up here a little bit. I think we're going to save it because there's an item coming up that we're going to get in just a minute. I don't remember what specific stats we need for it. I'm going to hang on to these souls for just a few minutes and see what happens. I'm going to end the video now, and I'll do a separate video for the weapon, which is the Drake Sword. So that'll be what I do next. I want to thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, if it helped you out, like the video, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time.